Chapter 2964. The entire demonic Qi region seemed to be boiling. The members of the Dragon Palace clashed with the evil creatures. When the 5 leaders of the evil beasts saw Wang Xian killing an existence that was at the same level as them, they did not hesitate at all and surrounded him. But soon, the 44th Order God Emperor Realm members of the Dragon Palace flew behind Wang Xian. King against king. General against general. Kill. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with excitement as he charged towards one of the evil creatures. After advancing 2 ranks, Wang Xian's body had grown to 40,000 meters. 40,000 meters was equivalent to 40 kilometers. An absolute behemoth. Among the 5 evil creatures, the largest was no more than 10,000 meters. But size didn't represent strength. There were advantages and disadvantages to having a big body. Wang Xian's speed was fast as the Tai Chi dragon coil revolved rapidly around him. He locked onto a 5th Order God Emperor Realm evil creature and swung his huge dragon tail at it. Roar. The leader of the evil creatures was not to be trifled with. It had a pair of gigantic claws. With a swing of its claws, golden cracks covered Wang Xian. Wang Xian let out a low roar as his figure flickered. He dodged the attack and appeared behind the evil creature's leader. That evil creature was already prepared for Wang Xian's speed. It raised its head and spat out a wave of golden law energy. Boom! The golden energy surged and the Tai Chi dragon coil flew above the dragon claw, forming an absolute defense. The dragon claw continued to attack the evil creature's leader below. Bam! The huge collision sent the evil creature's leader flying back with a large amount of blood spilling from its body. Wang Xian continued to press forward. In a one-on-one situation, even if it wasn't a surprise attack, Wang Xian could still end the battle in a short time. The Dragon Palace's 44th Order God Emperor Realm experts surrounded the other 4 nefarious beast leaders. Boom boom boom. With the high-level combat power entangled, the hundreds of billions of evil creatures below were in a more tragic state. Black shadows shuttled through the evil army and easily parasitized the evil creatures' bodies. In the next moment, these evil creatures started to attack their companions around them. This infuriated the countless demons and monsters, causing them to be in a state of chaos. Behind them, arrows whistled through the air. Every second, millions of demons and monsters died to the arrows. The Berserk Devouring Dragon, Berserk Dragon Species, Starwood Dragon Species, and Imperial Dragon Species charged at the strongest position. The Berserk Dragons were in charge of offense, the Imperial Dragons were in charge of defense, and the Starwood Dragons were in charge of entanglement. The perfect combination made it so that the evil spirits were unable to break through their defenses at all, and they were quickly hunted down. Every time the Spike Dragon species that hid in the void appeared, a powerful demon would be killed instantly. The huge gap made the war somewhat one-sided. If it weren't for the large number of Dragon Palace's God Emperor Realm experts attacking those 4th Order God Emperor Realm demonic creatures, more than half of them would have died by now. After all, there were too many Emperor Gods in the Dragon Palace, 10 times more than the demons. Tisk tsk tsk, this is so cool. In the middle of the battlefield, a figure holding a dagger shuttled back and forth. Other than 2nd Order God Emperor Realm existences, no one could see this figure. In a flicker, he appeared in front of a 3rd Order God Emperor Realm demonic creature and stabbed his dagger into its eye. That 3rd Order God Emperor Realm demonic creature was enraged, and just as it was about to retaliate, the figure disappeared. By the time that 3rd Order God Emperor Realm demonic creature reacted, the figure had already pierced through more than a dozen 3rd Order God Emperor Realm demonic creatures' eyes. Haha. And Lai couldn't help but laugh maniacally. He was filled with excitement. He was a unique existence in this universe. The Dragon Palace's original plan was to consume the eternal embryo fruit to create another one like him, but they failed. This made Lai extremely excited. He was still the strongest. With Lai around, dealing with God Emperor Realm demonic creatures was much easier. With Lai's current 2nd Order God Emperor Realm strength, he could easily deal with enemies below the 3rd Order God Emperor Realm. It could be said that he could kill them with ease. This kind of ability was monstrous. With his talent, it was impossible to defeat him with numbers. Even if there were 100 million First Order God Emperor Realm experts working together, Enlai could easily kill them all. This was because his instantaneous movement was too terrifying. If one couldn't keep up with his speed, they could forget about killing him. A grand war broke out in the enchantment domain. This was a true war, and it was 10 times more terrifying than when the Dragon Palace invaded the Mechanic Emperor domain. Close to 8,000 God Emperors participated in this war. The sun and moon dimmed, and the stars dimmed. The surrounding void exploded, and the battle was carried out in the void crevices. At this time, a blood-curdling scream resounded. In the sky above, Wang Xian's dragon claw was grabbing onto a fifth-order God Emperor realm demonic creature. The terrifying dragon claw grabbed onto the demonic creature, causing it to scream in pain. From Elder Wang Xian's dragon mouth, a long river of destructive energy swept towards the demonic creature. Wang. On the 5 elements grindstone, 5 divine dragons pulled the grindstone as they raised their heads and roared. A 5-colored dragon sword condensed, emitting a dazzling radiance as it pierced towards the demonic creature under Wang Xian's dragon claw. PFF. The destructive energy swept across, and the 5-colored dragon sword pierced right through. A blood-curdling scream resounded as the demonic creature widened its eyes in despair. At the side, the other 4 demonic creatures heard the scream and looked over. Seeing another demonic creature of the same level dying, their eyes were filled with fear. Wang Xian made a move and charged towards one of the leaders of the evil demons. That demonic creature revealed a fearful look when it saw Wang Xian's attack. When it saw Wang Xian killing 2 demonic creatures of the same level as it, it looked at Wang Xian with fear in its eyes. Its body moved, wanting to escape. Stop him. The group of 4th Order God Emperors from the Dragon Palace roared and launched a series of attacks at the demonic creature. Trying to escape? Wang Xian's eyes were filled with coldness. He waved the 5 elements grindstone and attacked the demonic creature. The other 3 demonic creatures had a bad premonition. They let out furious roars and wanted to escape. Wang Xian snorted. Stop them. If you can't stop them, leave something behind and use the array to lock them down. Yes, Dragon King. Chapter 2965. Invincible resplendent starry sky down Dragon King, we've stopped them. The battle continued. Up in the sky, the leaders of the evil beasts panicked when they saw that their second leader had been killed. They went berserk and fought with all their might. 10 experts from the Dragon Palace could only fight against 1 5th Order God Emperor realm demonic creature. It was too difficult to stop them from escaping. Let them escape if they want to. I want to see where they can escape to. Wang Xian said coldly. The 5 elements grindstone and the 10 experts from the Dragon Palace held back 1 demonic creature. He alone held back 1 God Emperor realm demonic creature, while the other 30 experts held back 1. Only 1 got away. If it escaped, then so be it. The sky formation would soon lock onto it. Kill these 3 as soon as possible. Wang Xian bellowed. A series of violent attacks were launched at the demonic creature in front of him. The 30 experts from Dragon Palace bombarded the leader of the demonic beasts with their energy. The continuous stream of energy forced the leader of the evil beasts to defend itself. Dragon King, that demonic creature is flying towards the Devil's Cave. At this time, the sky formation reminded Wang Xian. Enlai, go to the Devil's Cave and absorb the energy from the sacrificial altar. In order to prevent the demonic creature from escaping through the sacrificial altar, Wang Xian immediately instructed Enlai. Yes, Dragon King. Leave it to me. Enlai's voice resounded as his figure disappeared. Hurry up and kill that guy. Roving Heavens and the rest roared from the side. The 34th Order God Emperor Realm Dragon Palace members bombarded the demonic creature with terrifying energy. Wang Xian pushed his speed to the limit, suppressing the demonic creature with his attacks. A minute later, the demonic creature that charged into the Devil's Cave let out an unwilling roar. It spread its huge black wings, waved its claws, and attacked Enlai. Haha, I have broken through to the 3rd Order God Emperor realm. It's my loss if a puny demonic creature can touch me. Enlai looked at the demonic creature's attacks and dodged them easily. The demonic creature went berserk, but it couldn't touch Enlai. Teleportation was too heaven-defying. Alright. Wang Xian laughed out loud when he saw Enlai restraining the leader of the evil demons. Boom boom boom. The godly dragon swung its tail, sweeping across the area, and one attack after another landed on the body of the leader of the evil creatures. Kill. Wang Xian bellowed angrily as his massive dragon claws tore at it. Oeo. The third demon leader was dead. There were 3 left. As for the remaining 3, it was even easier. Wang Xian moved and attacked the leader of the evil demons that Enlai had angered. When the leader of the evil demons saw Wang Xian charging towards it, it was horrified. It ignored Enlai, which had infuriated it, and fled into the distance. However, its speed was a far cry from Wang Xian's. Soon, the violent battle continued. As for the other 2 demonic creatures, one was being attacked by 24th Order God Emperor Realm experts and the 5 Elements Grinder, while the other was being attacked by 30 God Emperor Realm demonic creatures. The situation was completely in the Dragon Palace's favor. Below, Enlai joined the battle once again. With his recent breakthrough, he was able to threaten the 4th Order God Emperor Realm demonic creatures. Moreover, the Dragon Palace did not have any experts below the 8th Order Immortal King Realm. One by one, the demonic creatures were being killed at a terrifying speed. Every second, millions of evil creatures were being slaughtered at a rapid pace. However, the members of the Dragon Palace rarely fell. The Dolphin clan at the back kept an eye on the entire battlefield. Once a member of the Dragon Palace was injured, they would immediately provide aid with vitality fluid. The entire void was filled with the roars and screams of the demonic creatures. As time passed, the demonic creatures were being killed at a terrifying speed. 5 minutes later, another leader of the evil creatures was killed by Wang Xian. In the next 5 minutes, the other 2 leaders of the evil creatures were killed as well. At this point, all 6 5th Order God Emperor Realm demonic creatures were killed. When Wang Xian and the rest killed the leaders of the evil creatures, the battle below was about to end. Kill them all. Wang Xian ordered the 4th Order God Emperor Realm members of the Dragon Palace. As they flew over, the speed of killing increased tenfold. After killing these demonic creatures, we have swept through the entire bedazzling starry sky. Wang Xian floated in the void, watching all the demonic creatures about to be killed. A faint smile appeared on his face, even though no one knew about this battle in the enchantment domain. After this, I can have a good rest. A smile appeared on his face. Dragon King, I want a devil's den to build a war machine with the Fire Hammer tribe. Tianjin flew over and said to Wang Xian with a smile. And this time, we have 6 5th Order God Emperor Realm demonic creatures' corpses. After you improve your strength, build the war machine. If you lack anything, just ask Prime Minister Turtle for it. Wang Xian said to him, Yes, Dragon King. I promise to build a powerful and invincible war machine. Tianjin's eyes were filled with excitement. Tianjin was a fanatical magus. Setting up arrays and forging special weapons were his passion. Now that he could gather all the resources in the bedazzling starry sky to build a war machine, he was filled with fighting spirit. Dragon King, we have finished them all. 10 minutes later, Prime Minister Turtle flew over and reported with a smile on his face. Our Dragon Palace has obtained a lot of resources this time. Let's settle down. I'll leave this place to you guys. Also, send Enlai to search the enchantment domain to see if there are any treasures. Wang Xian said with a smile. Yes, Dragon King. Leave this place to us. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Wang Xian moved and disappeared in an instant. There was no need for him to handle the rest of the matters. The promotion of the members of the Dragon Palace, the forging of war machines, and the handling of the war could be left to the other members. He could finally have a good holiday. Back in the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian immediately contacted a group of girls and met up with them. They began their sightseeing tour. As for the Dragon Palace, they collected all the demonic creatures' corpses. Other than one devil's den, the rest were devoured by the devouring dragon. This time, the strength of the devouring dragon would increase tremendously. Subsequently, all the members of the Dragon Palace started digesting the demonic creature's resources. After Tian Zhen and Duan Jinming improved their strength, they immediately started building war machines. A fifth-order God Emperor realm Devil's Den was the size of 2 ordinary planets. It would take a lot of effort to modify it. It would take at least a few years to succeed. The battle in the enchantment domain ended without anyone knowing. No one knew the current strength of the Dragon Palace. Perhaps the bedazzling starry sky believed that the Dragon Palace had 50 to 100 God Emperors. The strongest Dragon King might have the combat strength of a 4th-order God Emperor. He was at least a peak 3rd-order God Emperor. Chapter 2966. Remnant Evil. Ever since the Dragon Palace helped the Colored Glaze region annihilate the demon lairs and swept across the Mechanic Imperial region. Ever since the Lioli Domain's celebration last time, where they submitted to the Dragon Palace, and the Sanctuary Domain Master announced that the Dragon Palace would be the supreme ruler. After the entire bedazzling starry sky was connected to a communication network, the entire bedazzling starry sky became peaceful and prosperous. Even in the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region, there were no more battles between the various experts, and it had fallen into a state of peace. The entire resplendent starry sky no longer had that arrogant expert who disregarded human life. No powerhouse would dare to massacre an entire planet for no reason, because of the existence of the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty. Once a great villain appeared, he would be killed by the experts sent by the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty in less than 3 days. Moreover, they had sent a peak 9th-order God King Realm expert to handle the matter. The Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty and the Saint region of the Colored Glaze region jointly established an organization, the Bright Starry Sky Peacekeeping Organization. Although the name was simple, it possessed terrifying power. Nowadays, the Bright Starry Skies communication network was united. Once something happened, it could be directly reported to the communication network, and the Dragon and Phoenix Divine Dynasty had specialized inspectors. Once it was confirmed, for example, that a hedonistic disciple had appeared on a planet to abduct women, kill people, and set fires, he would be killed immediately. Who would dare to challenge the majesty of the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty in this bright starry sky? It wasn't that the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty was powerful, but that the Empress of the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty was the Dragon Empress, and behind the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty was the Dragon Palace. In this resplendent starry sky, the Dragon Palace was an invincible existence, a supreme being. It was also because the Dragon Palace was suppressing the entire starry sky that all the regions were relatively peaceful. In the following period of time, Wang Xian accompanied the group of girls to play on various planets. The vast and resplendent starry sky and various planets were an eye-opener for Wang Xian. Although he was very strong now, his age was that of a weaned child in this dazzling starry sky. Wang Xian was also very happy to eat, drink, and have fun. For the next 2 years, he wandered around. Over the past 2 years, the Dragon Palace had completely stabilized. Everything that needed to be upgraded had been upgraded. Some members of the Dragon Palace entered the Witch region and the Mechanic Emperor region to search and found some treasures. Every day, resplendent starry sky would send large amounts of resources to the Dragon Palace. However, the improvement of the Dragon Palace had also entered a stable stage. It would take around 10 days for a God Emperor expert to be born. The Dragon Palace was very satisfied with this speed. After the situation was stabilized, a large number of experts from the Dragon Palace began to work with the Heavenly Formation to build the Dragon Palace's war machines. It was the forging ability of the Firehammer clan. Dragon Witch's Array Formation. The venom was a horned dragon's venom. All the members of the Dragon Palace were busy. Later, because the Dragon Palace controlled the major grotto heavens and blessed lands in the bedazzling starry sky, they were open to all the experts in the bedazzling starry sky a year later. This was also the reason why more than a dozen Void God Emperors were unexpectedly born in the entire resplendent starry sky in these 2 years. The Dragon Palace also went through a recruitment process, adding 100,000 new members in 2 years. The peaceful management of the Dragon Palace had been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people over the past 2 years. The entire resplendent starry sky was bustling with activity as a divine dragon statue was built. Stories about the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King had spread to every corner of every planet. Dragon Palace, damn Dragon Palace, you invaded our mechanic imperial domain and killed all my subordinates. Just you wait, just you wait. However, just as the Dragon Palace was flourishing with peace and prosperity, a middle-aged man was flying rapidly in the void somewhere in the 8 desolations and 6 directions. Data flashed in his eyes, indicating his identity as a robot. The leader of the robots, the creator. He was the only robot in the entire resplendent starry sky. Ever since he was destroyed by the Dragon Palace 3 years ago, he had been thinking of ways to recover his strength. With the information he had, he could recover quickly as long as he found the corresponding metal and energy. In the beginning, his recovery was smooth, and he recovered all the way to the 9th Order God King realm. But recently, due to the increase in the grade of the metal materials he needed to recover, he had to enter some resource lands occupied by powerful forces. Not long ago, he entered a resource land of a force and was discovered. He killed tens of thousands of people. At first, he didn't care, but he soon found that god emperors from the Dragon Phoenix god dynasty were chasing after him. This filled the creator with fear. He used all kinds of methods and precise calculations to escape the pursuit of god emperors, and entered the 8 desolations and 6 directions. Because according to the information he had obtained, only the 8 desolations and 6 directions was safe. The other places were all under the Dragon Palace's domain. Once he was discovered, they could easily chase after him. According to the information from the various domains in the resplendent starry sky, many experts guessed that the 8 desolations and 6 directions is the land of an ancient race. This race seems to have been annihilated, leaving behind these ruins. Some experts guessed that the opposite of the 8 desolations and 6 directions is the center of the universe. Only by obtaining a large amount of resources here will I have a chance to take revenge. If I can't take revenge, I can pass through this place and avoid the pursuit of the Dragon Palace. Perhaps there are a large number of treasures in the center of the universe. The creator's eyes flashed, and he stared ahead as he flew towards the depths. He believed that with his supercomputing power, he would definitely be able to decipher some treasures or pass through this place. Now that he had recovered his battle prowess to the First Order God Emperor realm, the creator flew towards the depths of the universe, scanning the various arrays in front of him. A month later, he arrived at the deepest part of the 8 desolations and 6 directions, and all kinds of data flashed in his eyes. I have a great chance of breaking through the layers of defense of the 8 desolations and 6 directions. I have a great chance. At this moment, he was filled with excitement. According to the information he obtained, almost no human could reach this stage. Just as he was thinking of ways to go deeper, a large group of people were standing in front of an array not far away from him. There were more than 10,000 people standing in front of a barrier. According to our continuous tests, we are getting closer and closer to the palace in front of us. It won't be long before we can pass through this place. A slightly tired voice was heard. God Emperor Desolation stared ahead, clenched his fists and roared. On the ground by the side, there were at least 100,000 corpses. God Emperor Desolation, this is the last step. Are you sure there are experts going in and out of the palace in front of us? The Emperor Lord asked expressionlessly. I'm sure, there are experts from the center of the universe in front of us. God Emperor Desolation nodded with certainty. Now that the Dragon Palace is getting more and more powerful, we can either reach the other side or die of old age here. We have to take a gamble. A few god emperors from the 8 desolations roared with ugly expressions. Chapter 2967 Central Race on Ever since the 8 desolations offended the Dragon Palace, all the god emperors and god kings had fled to the depths of the 8 desolations. In the past few years, they had been dragging out an ignoble existence here. When the Emperor Lord found out that there was a chance to cross to the other side of the cosmos, he immediately took action. In the beginning, the 8 desolations Desolation God Emperor and the others did not follow. because they knew how terrifying the 8 desolations was. There were some powerful arrays, strange spaces, and desolate beasts that had lived for a long time. Even god emperors had a high chance of dying here. They did not participate. The Emperor Lord continued to probe, searching for a path to the other side. In a short period of time, the Emperor Lord did not find a way to reach the other side. As for the people of the 8 desolations, they were constantly paying attention to the situation in the bright starry sky and the Dragon Palace. Until 3 years ago, when they found out that the Dragon King had become the ruler of the entire bright starry sky, that the Dragon Palace had conquered the entire bright starry sky, and that the Glaze region and Saint region had submitted to them. When they found out that the entire bright starry sky was interconnected, all the god emperors and experts in the 8 desolations had ugly expressions on their faces. From their investigations, they found out that the current Dragon Palace was even more terrifying than before. 6 Third Order God Emperor Realm experts had destroyed the 2 Devil's Dens in the Glaze region and killed countless evil creatures. According to the information they obtained from the artificial intelligence, the entire Dragon Palace might have 10 Third Order God Emperor Realm experts. The Dragon King's strength was at least at the peak of the Third Order God Emperor Realm. Not long ago, they received news that the 8 Desolations' former base had been taken away by the Dragon Palace's experts and brought back to the Imperial Star Domain. The number of God Emperors in the Dragon Palace might be between 50 to 100. Such a terrifying power made everyone in the 8 Desolations fearful. Especially now that all the forces in the bright starry sky had submitted to them. The Dragon Palace might not even need to make a move. A single order from the Dragon Palace could destroy the 8 desolations. With the Dragon Palace's terrifying strength, the bright starry sky would belong to the Dragon Palace for the next few million years. And they would have to stay here until they perished. Such a situation had the God Emperors and experts panicking. Even God Emperor Desolation was flustered. He gritted his teeth and decided to think of a way to get out of this place together with Sovereign Lord. In 3 years, more than 100,000 people had died, and half of them were God Kings. Everyone, get ready. No matter what, we have to break the spell formation here. If you die, we'll treat your descendants well. Emperor God Desolation shouted coldly within the chaotic energy in all directions. At the back, more than 10,000 Emperor Gods clenched their fists tightly and their faces were filled with determination. They had no right to resist the decision of the God Emperors. At this moment, there was only one thought in their minds: to rush out of this place. It would be best if they could find the experts from the cosmos and annihilate the Dragon Palace, leaving no one alive. Charge! One of the God Emperors roared. More than 10,000 Emperor Gods formed a special formation and attacked in different directions. The dozen God Emperors immediately retreated. Boom! When their attacks landed on it, a terrifying rebounding force was felt. Terrifying energy surged towards the 10,000 over God King experts. Bam 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 bam. In an instant, the terrifying energy disintegrated thousands of God King experts, turning them into a pile of flesh and blood without any signs of life. Many of the others were also severely injured. Only a few dozen of them were unscathed. Seeing this, all the God Emperors from the 8 desolations were embarrassed. The spell formation is much weaker. It won't be long before we break it. At this moment, the Emperor was excited. Great, it will take at most a month. We should be able to break the spell formation here. Excited voices could be heard from the God Emperors. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. The back was already a hopeless situation. There might be hope ahead. Dragon King, the dragon lair of our Dragon Palace is ready. The experts from the 8 desolations were thinking of ways to break the spell formation and reach the legendary center of the cosmos. Wang Xian had no idea. Now, he had long forgotten about the 8 desolations. A force with a dozen God Emperors was not worthy of his attention. Wang Xian, who was in the resplendent starry sky with a group of girls, received a message from Prime Minister Turtle. The dragon lair is ready. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with joy. He informed the girls and returned to the Dragon Palace. The dragon lair was a war machine that the Dragon Palace had spent more than 2 years to build. Hundreds of thousands of members of the Dragon Palace had been mobilized. One had to know that the weakest member of the Dragon Palace had the strength of an 8th Order God King. The Dragon Palace had put in so much effort for 2 years and consumed so many resources to build such a war machine. Back in the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian immediately flew out of the Dragon Palace. At this moment, there were 2 incomparably huge creatures beside the Dragon Palace. One of them was over 300 kilometers long, while the other was over 200 kilometers long. Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai. After annihilating the demons, the Dragon Palace had used some resources to raise Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai's combat strength to 5th Order God Emperor and 4th Order God Emperor respectively. With the increase in their levels, their size had also increased dramatically. However, at this moment, Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai still looked very small compared to the huge creature beside them. Dragon Lair. The Dragon Lair was built with a 5th Order God Emperor's Devil Lair. At the entrance of the lair, there was an incomparably huge dragon head staring at everything in front of it. Dragon King. At this time, Prime Minister Turtle flew over and greeted Wang Xian with a smile. "Let's go and take a look." Wang Xian nodded his head. With a swift move, he flew towards the Dragon Cave. Dragon King. Dragon King. Tianzhen, Duan Jinming, and the rest of the Dragon Palace greeted respectfully as soon as Wang Xian arrived. Wang Xian nodded and stood at the entrance of the Dragon Lair. Dragon King, the construction of the Dragon Lair is complete. All the God Emperor combat techniques that I have mastered are inscribed on it. Among them, there are 33 5th Order God Emperor array formations and over 100 other array formations. All kinds of powerful array formations cover the entire Dragon Lair. Tianzhen walked over and introduced to Wang Xian. Other than Tianzhen and the array formations set up by the Dragon Shamans, there are also all kinds of large-scale weapons built by our Fire Hammer tribe. There are a total of 1 million weapons. When all of them are unleashed, they can instantly kill tens of thousands of God Emperor realm experts. Among them, the core few weapons can even kill 5th Order God Emperors. Duan Jinming walked over with a smile and explained to Wang Xian. The core is that we have used the 8 desolations as our energy source. Tianzhen said with a flushed face. Chapter 2968. A race from the center of the universe in the old nest of the 8 desolations is rumored to be a treasured land of the ancient races. I discovered that there is a powerful array sealing a special metal gem in the core area. This metal gem can absorb a large amount of spiritual energy. A portion of the absorbed spiritual energy is scattered around, while the rest is stored as energy. All the array formations and weapons in the Dragon Cave are powered by it. Based on my guess, if we activate all the array formations and weapons to attack, we can last for at least a year. After the energy is depleted, we can continue to absorb spiritual energy to recover. As Tianzhen spoke, he led Wang Xian deeper into the Dragon Cave. Currently, the deeper part of the cave was filled with buildings. They occupied 4/5 of the space in the Dragon Cave. However, the remaining space could accommodate all the members of the Dragon Palace. Even if there were twice as many people, it wouldn't feel crowded. The core of a war weapon was very important. The more energy it had, the stronger the attack would be. How's the power of the entire Dragon Cave? Wang Xian asked Tianzhen. Dragon King, with the array formations I've set and the weapons made by the Fire Hammer tribe, it shouldn't be a problem to kill a 6th Order God Emperor. In short, even 10 of me wouldn't be able to withstand the full attack of the Dragon Cave. Tianzhen said with a smile. Yes, it's already very powerful. Wang Xian nodded. When it flies, the speed of the entire Dragon Cave is comparable to a 5th Order God Emperor. Also, if we set up a summoning altar in advance, Enlai can bring the entire Dragon Cave with him for teleportation. Prime Minister Turtle said. Wang Xian nodded and sized up the entire Dragon Cave. Inside the Dragon Cave, there was an arrow platform for the arrow dragon species and some battle platforms for the starwood dragon species. Holes were dug on both sides to prevent enemies from coming in from the sides. Powerful weapons were placed at the entrance of the cave. They could even blast a 6th Order God Emperor into pieces. the entire dragon cave was unusually powerful. Wang Xian looked around and was very satisfied. At least for now, the entire dragon cave was the strongest offensive weapon of the Dragon Palace. Moreover, if Tianzhen and the Fire Hammer tribe improved their strength, they could upgrade the entire dragon cave. The limit of the upgrade depended on how much energy the core of the dragon cave could support. Well done. Wang Xian looked around and praised them again. Hee, Dragon King, we no longer have any opponents in the entire resplendent starry sky. This dragon cave is temporarily useless to us. Next, let some members of the Dragon Palace rest for a while. I'm going to send someone to 8 desolations and 6 directions. Prime Minister Turtle smiled and told Wang Xian about the next step of the plan. Going to the 8 desolations and 6 directions? Wang Xian was deep in thought. Now that the resplendent starry sky had no secrets from the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian was naturally aware of the situation there. According to the Dragon Palace's guess, the opposite side of the 8 desolations and 6 directions was most likely the center of the universe. And the 8 desolate 6 directions should be the ruins of a race. With Enlai's abilities, we can first explore the entire 8 desolations and 6 directions. It would be best if we could obtain some treasures. Once we're strong enough, we can prepare to step into the space on the other side of the 8 desolations and 6 directions. Prime Minister Turtle continued. Sure. Wang Xian nodded his head. We're going to recuperate for a month or 2. We'll let the Dragon Palace members understand the information first before we investigate with Enlai. Prime Minister Turtle said. I'll leave this matter to you. Wang Xian nodded his head. Excluding the 5th Order God Emperors in the Dragon Palace, he still had 10 of them. The exploration of the 8 desolations and 6 directions could be left to the Dragon Palace members. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Ghost nodded his head. The completion of the construction of the Dragon Lair was a joyous occasion for the entire Dragon Palace. Next, Prime Minister Turtle gave all the members a holiday to rest for a month or 2. They could then roam around the resplendent starry sky. While all the members of the Dragon Palace were recuperating at the 8 desolations and 6 directions. It's almost done. It should be done soon. A month later, in a chaotic region of the 8 desolations and 6 directions, there were collapsed ancient buildings. On the ground, there were corpses. Compared to the previous time, the number of corpses had increased significantly over the past month. A month ago, according to the speculation of the Emperor Gods, the array in front of them should be broken soon. However, a month had passed and more than 100,000 people had died, but the array was still not broken. This made the Emperor Gods anxious. Some of the experts and disciples from the 8 desolations were also panicking. They were also afraid of death. Sir Emperor Gods, how much longer do you need to break it? Thousands of injured disciples from the 8 desolations asked in fear. It should be soon. It should be soon. The Emperor Lord murmured as he stared at the array in front of him with bloodshot eyes. They were only 1 step away from the palace in front of them, but the array had completely isolated them. Even though they thought that the array was about to be broken, more than 100,000 people had died in the past month, and it still hadn't been broken. Look in the palace. There are people. Suddenly, at this moment, a God King's eyes widened as he pointed in the direction of the formation in shock. He bellowed out loudly, "You're the God King of Hell." At this moment, everyone trembled and immediately looked in the direction of the array, staring at it. In an instant, their eyes were filled with terror. In front of them, 6 eyes were also staring at them. The source of the 6 eyes wasn't 3 people, but 2. There was also an eye in the middle of their brows. At this moment, the 2 people who looked exactly like humans but had a vertical eye in the middle also looked in their direction. They stared at them coldly, sending chills down their spines and making them feel a little scared. This was definitely the gaze of a very powerful expert. Even though they were separated by the array, it still sent chills down their spines. Please help us break the array formation here, I beg the 2 experts. The Sovereign Lord hurriedly shouted at the 2 three-eyed humans outside. However, the 2 three-eyed humans were curious and surprised. They exchanged a glance but couldn't hear what the Desolation Gods were saying. They can't hear us. They can't hear us. Three-eyed humans, they are definitely experts from another region. They are experts from another region. That should be the center of the universe. Think of a way to communicate with them. Think of a way to communicate with them. The group of god emperors let out anxious looks as they yelled out, "Let me do it." At this moment, Emperor God Desolation, who was standing in the middle, took a deep breath and said, "Emperor God Desolation, you have a way to communicate with the people over there?" The Emperor Lord's expression changed as he stared at him and asked loudly. Chapter 2969. Race in the center of the universe below. I once entered a study room here and found some books with the words of the center of the universe. I believe these words have always been used in the center of the universe. However, I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing for us to interact with the experts in the center of the universe. Emperor God Desolation looked at the surrounding god emperors and said, "There's nothing worse than our current situation." Emperor Lord looked at Emperor God Desolation and said, "All right." Emperor God Desolation nodded. He was clear too. However, he was hesitant to interact with the experts in the center of the universe. He waved his arm and wrote a line of words in the void. Brother Yang Feng, that group of people wrote a line of words here, asking us to break the formation? On the opposite side, the deacon of the three-eyed race, Yang Xiaohun, spoke to the middle-aged man beside him. "This is the border of the Ink Han race. Few people come here. Why would there be humans on the other side? They don't look too strong." The deacon of the three-eyed race, Yang Feng, frowned as he looked at Emperor God Desolation and his group. They might be humans from the satellite region of the Ink Han race, at the border of the universe. Yang Xiaohun pondered, humans on the other side? So weak and in a remote place of the Ink Han race. They shouldn't have any treasures. Ignore them. Yang Feng said as he prepared to leave. Emperor God Desolation, the two experts want to leave. Don't let them leave. Don't let them leave. On the opposite side, Emperor Lord shouted anxiously when he saw the two of them wanting to leave. How can we not let them leave? Emperor God Desolation was anxious too. Divine Dragon. They said that we have a divine dragon that just grew up. Divine Dragon is a pinnacle race in the void of the universe. If they knew that we have a divine dragon here, they would be tempted. Emperor Lord said immediately. 3 years ago, he had already thought of how to communicate with the races in the center of the universe. Divine Dragon, pinnacle race in the universe. As long as they said that they had a divine dragon, a weak one at that, no expert wouldn't be tempted. Alright. There was a flash of light in Emperor God Desolation's eyes and he immediately wrote down a line of words. At this moment, Yang Xiaohun, who was still looking over, was slightly stunned when he saw this line of words. His eyes were filled with astonishment. "Brother Yang, look. Yang Xiaohun shouted at Yang Feng as he pointed at a row of words written by Emperor God Desolation. What? Divine Dragon? When Yang Feng saw this line of words, his pupils constricted slightly and his expression changed drastically. On the opposite side, Emperor God Desolation saw the changes in their expressions and revealed a look of excitement. Buzz! Emperor God Desolation immediately waved his arm and drew a wind divine dragon pattern in front of him. Then he wrote another line of words. There are legendary wind divine dragons in our area. Their strength is only at the second or third order God Emperor realm. They want to kill us, please save us. The divine dragon is the top race in the universe. I know that he is very important to all of you. A line of words floated in front of him. What's that? Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun scanned through a line of words and fixed their eyes on the picture of the wind divine dragon. As the center of the universe, they were very clear about the rulers of the races. They were also very clear about the destructive battle between the divine dragon race and the insect race hundreds of millions of years ago. In the center of the universe, there were clear records about the divine dragon race. They also knew all the divine dragons. That picture was the wind divine dragon of the divine dragon race. Even if it wasn't a purebred divine dragon, it was still a divine dragon. They were very clear about the strength of the divine dragon race. In fact, there were still divine dragons in the center of the universe. Moreover, there were 9 famous divine dragon races. The strongest divine dragon race had reached the level of a primary race in the universe. The center of the universe was a place where tens of thousands of races fought for hegemony. Over here, the races were divided into 6 levels according to their strength. Horde race, domain class race, primary race, middle race, high race, and ruler race. Horde race was a race that didn't make the cut, just like the three-eyed race. There were many horde races, and there were tens of thousands of them. They were at the lowest end of the center of the universe. In the past, the divine dragon race belonged to the ruler race and was also known as a peak race. There were very, very few ruler races. Hundreds of millions of years ago, in the final war between the divine dragons and the Zerg race, all purebred divine dragons died in battle. But there were still some creatures with the divine dragon bloodline. They experienced great opportunities, purified their bloodline, and underwent atavism, gradually becoming purebred divine dragons. The silhouettes of the divine dragons slowly appeared on the stage of the center of the universe. But according to their understanding, the current divine dragon race was divided into 9 major races. Each race didn't submit to the other, and there were even wars. Moreover, because of the fall of the divine dragon race's powerhouses, the current divine dragon race, even the purebred divine dragons, didn't have the divine dragon heritage. This resulted in some of the divine dragon bloodlines, or those who accidentally evolved into purebred divine dragons, becoming the mounts of some powerhouses. Dragon Knights. When the divine dragon race was still around, there were existences of this level. Every Dragon Knight was a powerhouse that shook the universe. But at that time, there was only one way to become a purebred divine dragon knight, and that was for the divine dragon to willingly become your mount. That divine dragon was indebted to you, and the divine dragon would repay your kindness by becoming your mount. Otherwise, forcing a divine dragon to become a mount would be courting death, and no powerhouse in the universe would dare to force it. But now, it was different. There were many Dragon Knights. Although everyone knew that they weren't real Dragon Knights, having a divine dragon as a mount and a mount with the divine dragon bloodline was also a symbol of powerhouses and status. Yet, the group of people opposite them said that there were divine dragons in their void. How could Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun not be shocked by this? Even if it wasn't a purebred divine dragon, it still made their hearts burn. If they could use it as a mount, but soon, they dismissed the idea of using it as a mount. If other powerhouses found out about this, they would definitely kill them and snatch their mounts. Secondly, a divine dragon bloodline was stronger than the three-eyed race no matter how weak it was. The three-eyed race was just a group of races. But now, they received news about divine dragons. Both of them looked at each other and their breathing quickened. Do you really have divine dragons over there? Do you know the consequences of lying to us? Yang Feng waved his arm and a line of words appeared in front of him. They responded. Looking at this sentence, Emperor God Desolation and the others revealed an excited expression. Chapter 2970. Hurry up and reply, Emperor God Desolation, hurry up and reply. Looking at the replies from the three-eyed clan, the Emperor Gods and Emperor Lords from all over the 8 barons were extremely excited. If we dare to deceive the two sirs can directly kill us. Emperor God Desolation didn't hesitate and replied. Who? Looking at Emperor God Desolation's words and their expressions, Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun exchanged glances and their breathing hastened. Divine dragons, be it taming, cultivating, selling to experts, or satisfying their cravings as dragon knights, were extremely attractive to them. They were all great opportunities. If they could obtain a divine dragon, they might be able to soar to the sky and change their lives. Brother Yang, they have a divine dragon. Should we tell the tribe leaders about it? Yang Xiaohun asked passionately. Don't tell them for now. Yang Feng's expression fluctuated. He stared at Yang Xiaohun and roared, You and I don't know how great the fortuitous encounter this time is. If we tell the clans, you should know the consequences. Let's finish investigating first. Alright. Yang Xiaohun's expression changed as he nodded heavily. This was an opportunity that belonged to the two of them. Once they told the tribe, even if there was a pure-blooded divine dragon, they wouldn't be able to gain much from it. If they could obtain the treasures themselves, why would they tell the tribe? We are in a very secluded place. Very few people have been here for hundreds or thousands of years. This place is relatively hidden. Even though this is a secluded place for the Ink-Han tribe, the formation here is very strong. In the past, the Ink-Han tribe had many sorcerers who were good at formations. Let's see if we can break the formation here. Yang Feng looked at the formation in front of him as his eyes glowed. Brother Yang, let me try. Yang Xiaohuan's vertical eye glowed as he spoke. He took a few steps back as a spot of light gathered in his eyes. The spot of light gradually enlarged until it was the size of a fist. In the next moment, the spot of light attacked the formation in front of them. There was a loud sound. Ka-ka-ka. In the end, the two of them were overjoyed to see a crack slowly appear on the formation in front of them. So easy? Yang Xiaohun was also pleasantly surprised. The Ink-Han clan has already been exterminated for hundreds of millions of years. The formation's energy has been depleted over the years, and there's also the attacks of those people. Yang Feng pursed his lips, his eyes filled with excitement. It's broken, it's broken. What powerful strength. One person directly broke the formation. On the opposite side, Emperor God Desolation and the others saw the cracks on the formation. They were extremely excited and shouted excitedly. The indestructible array formation was finally broken. Bam! When Yang Feng saw how easily the formation was broken, he stretched out his fist and punched at the crack. His arm directly blasted out a hole. The cracked area was like glass. With a wave of his hand, he created a 2-meter-wide entrance. Boom! In the next moment, the two of them shook their bodies and unleashed all of their power. A strong pressure rushed towards the Sovereign Lord and the experts of Ba Huang. This was to give them a show of strength, to let them know the gap between them. Boom! The aura that erupted from the two of them caused their faces to instantly turn pale, and their foreheads were instantly filled with cold sweat. Greetings, milords. They quickly knelt on the ground and shouted. Even if the experts didn't speak the language, they could instantly know what the other party meant with their soul connection. Emperor God Desolation, the Sovereign Lord and the others knelt there, shivering in fear. An expert, a true expert. They felt that it would be easy for the two of them to eliminate them. Before the two of them, they couldn't resist at all. Get up! Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun stared at them with satisfaction. Thank you, milords. Thank you, milords. The Sovereign Lord and Emperor God Desolation immediately thanked them and stood up in reverence. Is what you said true? Yang Feng asked them expressionlessly. We wouldn't dare to lie to you, milords. The Sovereign Lord and Emperor God Desolation quickly replied. Take us to your side and tell us everything in detail. The two of them glanced at them and ordered. Yes, yes. Feeling the prestige from the two of them, especially the pressure from the vertical eye, the Sovereign Lord and Emperor God Desolation didn't dare to have any objections. They led the way and headed towards the place where the experts from 8 Desolation were temporarily staying. As they followed Emperor God Desolation and the others, they passed by a few special places along the way. Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun were shocked by the method of passing through these special places. They exchanged glances with excitement and vigilance. This meant that even if someone from the center of the universe discovered that the formation over there was broken, they couldn't enter this place. Milords, please. Now that we are forced to this place by the Dragon Palace force, we hope that you can help us in the future. After more than an hour, they came to a secret place where the experts and disciples of 8 Desolation were temporarily staying. Emperor God Desolation and the Sovereign Lord spoke. Dragon Palace? Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun raised their eyebrows and looked at them doubtfully. Milords, the Dragon Palace is the force that owns the divine dragons. They have 9 wind divine dragons and are likely to be purebred divine dragons. The Sovereign Lord said, Purebred divine dragons? Upon hearing them, the two of them clenched their fists tightly. There aren't many purebred divine dragons in the center of the universe. Yang Feng suppressed the excitement in him and said, Center of the universe? The Sovereign Lord, God Emperor Desolation, and the others were shocked when they heard this. So the opposite side of 8 desolation and 6 directions was really the center of the universe. Milords, I feel that the Dragon Palace's divine dragons are true divine dragons. That Dragon King has obtained the inheritance of the divine dragons. The Sovereign Lord said, his eyes filled with hatred. The two of them were shocked and looked at the Sovereign Lord. With their strength, they could see the Sovereign Lord's cultivation realm. A second-order God Emperor would be considered a core disciple in their clans. Being able to reach such a cultivation realm in such a remote place, he would be considered a genius in their clans. His words might be wrong due to his lack of knowledge, but there was a high chance that he was right. Milords, please come in. Let us take a seat and explain. God Emperor Desolation said as they arrived at the residence of the 8 desolation experts. Due to the small size of the mystic realm, the surroundings seemed unusually crowded. When they arrived, they attracted the attention of all the 8 desolation disciples. When they saw the human with the vertical eye on his forehead, they were shocked. Chapter 2971, Dragon Knights? 2-inch are they experts from the center of the universe? Those 2 lords with vertical eyes, are they experts from the center of the universe? They must be. There are no such noble beings in our dazzling starry sky. They must be experts from the center of the universe. We are saved now. We don't have to stay in this small place anymore. I can feel a powerful pressure coming from those 2 lords. 3 Eyes, huh? What kind of sacred race is that? If the 2 lords are willing to help us, we can leave this place. Annihilate the Dragon Palace. Annihilate the Dragon King. Kill them, kill them. Annihilate the Dragon Palace, annihilate them all. All the experts and disciples of the 8 desolations were hiding. When they saw the 2 three-eyed race enter the holy kingdom of the Baron God Emperor, they were all excited. In recent years, to avoid the pursuit of the Dragon Palace, they could only stay in this small space. To leave this place, to take revenge, their experts and disciples took huge risks and lost hundreds of thousands of people. Now, they finally contacted the experts from the center of the universe. If the 2 experts were willing to help them, it would be a great fortune for them. Revenge. Return to the dazzling starry sky. Annihilate the Dragon Palace. There was hope for everything. This is? At the same time, in the holy kingdom of the Baron God Emperor, a group of God Emperors stood respectfully in the middle of a palace. Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun sat at the front, holding a piece of information and AI in their hands. These documents were all about the Dragon Palace. From the rise of the Dragon Palace to the current domination of the entire dazzling starry sky. Looking at the information, the 2 were shocked. They looked at each other and saw incomparable madness and passion in each other's eyes. They looked at the pictures of the mystical dragons in the Dragon Palace on the AI again. Some things made them take a deep breath. The Dragon Palace took less than 10 years to reach such a level. The Dragon King must have obtained the inheritance of the Divine Dragon, and this inheritance might not be simple. Brother Yang, the pictures of the 9 divine dragons look like the wind divine dragons in the records. They look like purebred wind divine dragons. The inheritance of the Divine Dragon. It's highly possible that it's a purebred wind divine dragon. We're going to strike it rich. This is a great opportunity. Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun couldn't help but roar in their hearts as they communicated through voice transmissions. If all the information was true, then the Dragon Palace must have obtained a huge opportunity. Among the 9 divine dragon clans in the universe, even the strongest clan didn't have such a terrifying speed of development in the past. If they could seize the opportunity of the Dragon Palace, then the 2 of them looked at each other again, their eyes filled with determination. We can help you solve your problems. Leave the Dragon Palace to us. Yang Feng squinted his eyes and suppressed the excitement in his heart as he spoke to the Desolation God Emperor and the others. Lord is willing to help us? When Emperor God Desolation and the others heard what the 2 of them said, their faces were filled with excitement. We are interested in the Dragon Palace and the Divine Dragon. The 2 of them said indifferently. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, sirs. With your strength, you can easily wipe out the entire Dragon Palace and kill the Dragon King. The group of god emperors knelt down excitedly. It's a small matter. It's just a third-order god emperor, realm dragon king and divine dragon. It's easy to kill them. Yang Feng slowly stood up and said with a proud look on his face. Even though they were the deacons of the weakest clan in the center of the universe, they were a fifth-order god emperor and a fourth-order god emperor. It wasn't a problem for them to deal with the Dragon Palace and subdue all the divine dragons. In their opinion, the Dragon Palace's rise was heaven-defying. However, it was still too immature. Furthermore, they were a clan that lived in the center of the universe. Even if they were weak, this remote place couldn't be compared to them. Let's set off now. Lead the way. The two of them couldn't help but say, "Yes, Lord." The group of god emperors nodded their heads excitedly. In a flash, they flew out of the Dragon Palace. All god kings above the third-order god king realm will follow us to destroy the Dragon Palace. The rest of the disciples will wait for good news in the 8 Desolation 6 directions. One of the god emperors shouted excitedly as he flew out of the god kingdom. His voice traveled into the ears of all the disciples. Destroy the Dragon Palace? Ah, that's great, that's great. Destroy the Dragon Palace and kill the Dragon King. Hearing the news from the god emperor, everyone looked extremely excited as they cheered excitedly. Finally, they could leave this place. Lord God Emperor. The third-order God King realm and above experts flew towards Huang Xiaolong's direction. There were over 1 million God King realm experts in the 8 Desolation God King realm, and there were about 500,000 of them who were above the third-order God King realm. A portion of them had fallen in the past few years, so there were still 300,000 of them left. Killing intent filled the eyes of the 300,000 God King realm experts as they flew behind the group of God Emperors. Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun swept a glance at them, but they didn't say anything. In the Three Eyes race, the disciples of God King realm experts were the main fighting force. Let's go, lords. The Emperor Lord and the others said respectfully. The two of them nodded their heads. The Desolation God Emperor waved his arm and controlled his God Kingdom to bring everyone out. After passing through a series of strange terrains, they soon arrived at the outer region of the 8 Desolation 6 directions. Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun looked at the starry sky in front of them, and their hearts were filled with anticipation and excitement. The opportunity was right in front of them. The divine dragon was right in front of them. However, at a place not far from them, a group of people appeared and flew towards them. There were more than 10,000 of them. However, the aura emitted by these 10,000 people wasn't something the experts in the 8 Desolation could compare to. Other than a metallic being in the middle, these 10,000 people all had 4 arms. The 4-armed old man in the lead stared at the void around him with excitement. Who would have thought that we would have such an opportunity, 5th Deacon? A middle-aged man beside the 4-armed old man stared at the surroundings as he roared with excitement. A chilling aura was emitted from his surroundings. Hee, who would have thought that we would have such an opportunity when we brought our disciples here for training? The heavens are helping our 4 arms race. Creator, lead the way. After we help you destroy the Dragon Palace, our 4 arms race will provide you with a large amount of metal and technological knowledge. The 4-armed old man said to the robot beside him. The robot was the creator. Chapter 2972, Dragon Knight? 3. The Master of Creation arrived at the 8 Desolations a month ago. He was a robot to begin with, so he had powerful computing and analytical abilities, as well as strong investigative abilities. After he entered the 8 Desolations and 6 directions, he relied on his powerful computing and analytical abilities to find a weak spot in a month's time. He arrived at the opposite side of the 8 Desolations and 6 directions, the center of the universe. However, it was unknown if he was lucky or unlucky that he met the powerful 4-armed tribe who was leading their disciples there for training. The Master of Creation who came out of the 8 Desolations was immediately discovered and captured by them. They were naturally very curious about the robot that suddenly flew out of the Ink Han clan's ruins. Under interrogation, the Master of Creation analyzed and calculated everything and told everyone of the 4-armed tribe. When the four-armed tribe found out that the Master of Creation came from the void behind the Ink Han clan's ruins and that there was a divine dragon in that dazzling starry sky, their reaction was the same as the two from the three-eyed tribe. They were filled with excitement and passion. That was a divine dragon. The pinnacle existence of the universe, a divine dragon. Then they immediately let the Master of Creation bring them through. Seeing this, the Master of Creation immediately asked the four-armed tribe to help him destroy the Dragon Palace. The four-armed tribe did not hesitate and immediately agreed. Lord Xian, there's a base not far away from the Dragon Palace. Let's go there first. The Master of Creation looked at the old man leading the four-armed tribe and said, "All right, lead the way." The four-armed old man's eyes flashed as he looked around. Yes. The Master of Creation nodded and flew forward. This is the starry sky behind the Ink Han clan? The spirit chi is quite weak. Although the Ink Han clan was destroyed, they still have many great arrays that absorb the spirit chi in this starry sky, causing the spirit chi here to be weaker. Divine Dragon, that picture looks like a purebred wind divine dragon. If there are more divine dragons, even if it's just a pseudo-dragon, it would be great to capture it as a mount. Haha, don't even think about it. But it shouldn't be a problem to be a temporary dragon knight. I hope there are more divine dragons in the Dragon Palace. If that's the case, our four-armed tribe will have a high chance of rising. Behind them, more than 10,000 disciples of the four-armed tribe discussed excitedly. They looked around with great interest. They had not expected to encounter such a situation during their training. They were the elite members of the four-armed tribe. The weakest was an 8th Order Undying God King, while the strongest was a Peak Undying God King. There were 15 God Emperors in the front, and the old man in the middle was the deacon of the four-armed tribe. He possessed the strength of a 5th Order God Emperor realm. If there are many divine dragons in the Dragon Palace, we can keep them in captivity. Even if they are drakes, we can sell them for a good price. This is a good opportunity for our four-armed tribe to rise. According to the information of that creation, the Dragon Palace should have obtained the inheritance of a powerful divine dragon. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to grow so quickly. I wonder what their opportunity is? Could it be the corpse of a powerful pure-blooded divine dragon? At the front, the group of emperor gods from the four-armed tribe couldn't help but discuss. A great opportunity was right in front of them. It was possible that their four-armed tribe would be able to step into the ranks of the races. The group of experts from the four-armed tribe quickly flew towards the nearest Dragon Branch Palace. Just as they were rushing over, in the current 8 Desolation 6 Directions, the base of the 8 Desolation 6 Directions Dragon Palace had been taken away by Tianzhen and the others to build the Dragon Cave. Currently, the Dragon Palace had 5 branches in the 8 Desolation 6 Directions Dragon Palace. They were located on 5 different planets, and they were the 5 most prosperous planets in the 8 Desolation 6 Directions. These planets were managed by the experts of the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty. In the depths of a bustling planet, a huge divine kingdom was flying towards the planet at high speed. Lords, there is a base of the Dragon Palace on the planet in front of us. That was once the territory of the 8 Desolation 6 Directions Dragon Palace. Now, it is occupied by the Dragon Palace. In the Void Divine Nation, God Emperor Desolation stared at the prosperous planet in front of him as he spoke to Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun with cold eyes. Yang Feng raised an eyebrow. His vertical eye flickered as he scanned the planet. His gaze swept across the planet. There was only one God Emperor on the planet. This made him smile with disdain. Let's head over. Yang Xiaohun, who was beside him, smiled and said indifferently. Boom. God Emperor Desolation's eyes were wild and excited. The massive divine nation sped up and flew towards the sky above the planet. At the same time, a boundless might charged towards the planet below. What's going on? Is that a divine nation? What a massive might! Who dares to cause trouble on our 9 Ming planet? Which God Emperor is so unscrupulous? When the might of the Void Divine Kingdom flooded the planet unabashedly, everyone's eyes narrowed as they looked up in shock. However, they didn't show fear on their faces. The Dragon Palace was the king of the entire bright starry sky. No one dared to cause trouble there, even if the other party was a god emperor. Which god emperor is releasing his might on our 9 Ming planet? In a luxurious palace on the planet, the expert of the Dragon Phoenix god dynasty who was in charge of the planet flew into the sky. He stared at the divine nation in the sky and frowned slightly. Haha, has anyone forgotten that 9 Ming planet is the territory of the 8 Desolation? A group of god emperors flew out of the divine nation slowly. God Emperor Desolation stared at the manager of the planet below and asked coldly, 8 Desolation? The manager of the 9 Ming planet was stunned. Then he looked astonished. What? The God Emperor of the 8 Desolation? Didn't they flee in fear of the Dragon Palace? Why are they back now? The God Emperor of the 8 Desolation is back? What are they trying to do? When everyone on the planet heard this, their faces were filled with shock. Back then, the 8 Desolation had wanted to join forces with the Imperial Court and the Witch Association to destroy the Dragon Palace. However, the Dragon Palace had acted in advance and destroyed the Witch Association and the Imperial Court. The 8 Desolation God Emperor had fled with all his disciples in fear. Who would have thought that they would be back now? Weren't they afraid of the Dragon Palace? The God Emperor of the 8 Desolation? Why are you back? The manager of the 9 Ming planet asked as he stared at the God Emperor hovering in the sky. Why are you asking us? The 8 Desolations and 6 Harmonies belong to us. What else can we do here? It seems like some people acted presumptuously when we left. Since they don't know what's good for them, they shall die. A God Emperor from the 8 Desolation laughed hysterically. He stared at the manager of the 9 Ming planet and moved. Boom. In the next moment, he appeared next to the manager of the 9 Ming planet and attacked him with a palm that contained terrifying energy. Chapter 2973, Dragon Knight? For Inch no, I'm from the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty. I'm backed by the Dragon Palace. When the manager of the 9 Ming planet saw the God Emperor that was charging towards him, his eyes narrowed and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. He roared with a pale face. Bam! But the God Emperor from Ba Huang didn't even bat an eyelid as his palm landed on him. The manager of the 9 Ming planet was only a 9th-order immortal God King. He didn't even have the chance to escape from the attack of a God Emperor. His body exploded and turned into ashes in an instant. What? The God Emperor from Ba Huang killed the manager of our planet. On the planet below, everyone's expressions changed drastically when they saw this. They could not help but shout. Ba Huang, how dare you kill the experts from the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty? Our Empress will not let you off. Neither will the Dragon Palace. When the other members of 9 Min Planet saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically, and they immediately bellowed out loudly. Won't let us off? We came out this time to destroy the Dragon Palace and kill the Dragon King. Emperor God Desolation's eyes were cold. He held a scepter in his hand and stared at the ground below. Boom! The scepter emitted a terrifying stream of water, which attacked the group of palaces below. With a loud bang, everything within a radius of 1,000 kilometers was flattened. The water current flooded the surroundings. This time, it was fortunate that many people were prepared and didn't get killed. However, a large number of people were still affected. Today I, Ba Huang, announce my return. It won't be long before we destroy the Dragon Palace and raise the Dragon King's head high. Emperor God Desolation announced with a cold face. His voice reverberated across the entire void. On the planet below, everyone's expressions changed drastically when they heard this. They looked on in shock. They were curious. With the current strength of the Dragon Palace, how could Ba Huang fight them? The Dragon Palace is here, right? Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun looked in the direction of the ocean and said plainly, Yes, my lords. The base of the Dragon Palace is in the ocean. Hearing their words, the group of God Emperors quickly responded respectfully. The two of them flew towards the ocean without hesitation. They hurriedly followed behind. Who are those two people? Why is Emperor God Desolation and the other 8 Desolation God Emperors so respectful? They are flying in the direction of the Dragon Palace. On the planet, everyone looked over curiously. The return of a group of experts from the vast 8 Desolates killed the administrator of the Dragon and Phoenix God dynasty. Moreover, Emperor God Desolation said that he wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace and kill the Dragon King. What could they rely on? Who were the two people whom the God Emperors of the 8 Desolations addressed as lords? Everyone's expression changed, and they quickly transmitted the situation on their side to the intelligence system. Some of the God King experts on the planets hesitated for a moment, constantly paying attention to the situation over at the ocean. Buzz? The three-eyed groups Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun were very fast. The two of them floated above the ocean and stared at the ocean below with blazing eyes. Boom! At this time, a powerful pressure came from the sea. A berserk dragon with blood-red chains wrapped around its body, a thunder hammer in one hand and a demonic flame spear in the other emerged from the water, staring at the two figures in the sky. Behind him, there were dozens of 8th Order and 9th Order Immortal King experts from the Dragon Palace. When the berserk dragon made eye contact with the two from the three-eyed group, its expression changed. That's a God Emperor from the Dragon Palace? He doesn't look like a demonic dragon with the bloodline of the divine dragon? Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun stared at the berserk dragon with a frown. Unbeatable! The berserk dragon sensed the strength of the two, especially the pressure from the vertical eye, causing his expression to change. His gaze swept to the side, and when he saw the 8 Desolates God Emperors flying over, he did not hesitate. Retreat! With a low roar, the berserk dragon immediately fled towards the Dragon Palace. Trying to escape? Wishful thinking. Yang Xiaohun's eyes were filled with disdain. Rays of light shot out from his eyes as he attacked the members of the Dragon Palace. At the instant he attacked, a group of people flew over from the void in front of him. They were the people from the four-arm race. The Dragon Palace's base is on the planet ahead. No, Lord Qian, I found a piece of information on the artificial intelligence system. The 8 Desolates God Emperors are also on this planet. In the middle, the Master Creator's eyes shone with all sorts of information as he spoke to the 5 Deacon of the four-arm race. Deacon Qian of the four-arm race squinted his eyes as he stared ahead. What superpower is the 8 Desolates? One of the four-arm race God Emperor asked. This is the information on the 8 Desolates. According to the artificial intelligence system, the 8 Desolates God Emperor has brought 2 people here to annihilate the Dragon Palace. The Master Creator waved his arm, and all the information on the 8 Desolates was displayed. Deacon Qian's gaze swept across, and he had a bad feeling when he felt the pressure from the planet ahead. Let's go, we need to speed up. Without any hesitation, he took the lead and flew towards the planet ahead. The group followed closely behind. Boo! Trying to escape? Trying to escape from my hands? At this time, above the sea, Yang Xiaohun stretched out his arm. In front of him, the First Order God Emperor Realm Mad Dragon and the rest of the dragon species were restrained. The two from the three-eyed race stared at them with disdain, and a look of ridicule could be seen on their faces. The huge gap in strength caused the members of the Dragon Palace to be captured before they could escape back to the Dragon Palace. What are you doing? Going against the Dragon Palace? The Mad Dragon saw that they were captured, but there was no change in his expression. He stared at them and questioned them. HM? Pretty gutsy? Yang Xiaohun raised an eyebrow when he saw the indifferent expressions on the dragon species' faces. First Order God Emperor Realm, and the scales on his body are similar to dragon scales. Flood Dragon? Yang Feng sized up the Mad Dragon species, and his eyes shone with excitement. Big brother Yang, it seems like their bloodline isn't pure. Yang Xiaohun was also sizing it up and said with slight disappointment. However, just as he finished speaking, Yang Feng's expression changed slightly, and he immediately turned to the side with a solemn expression. This is? When he saw the group of experts from the four-armed race flying in their direction, his expression changed, and he looked extremely ugly. What's wrong? Yang Xiaohun and the experts from the 8 Desolates turned to look. When they saw the four arms, their faces were filled with shock. Four-armed race, why are they here? Yang Xiaohun roared with an ugly expression. Chapter 2974, Dragon Knight? 5-4, Arm Tribe. When the two from the three-eyed tribe saw them, they looked extremely embarrassed. The four-armed tribe and the three-eyed tribe were both considered weak tribes. The distance between the two tribes wasn't too far. Although they were both large human tribes and didn't have many disputes, the arrival of the four-armed tribe was undoubtedly the worst thing that could happen to them. Yang Feng and Yang Xiaohun stared at the four-armed tribe gloomily with glistening eyes. A deacon of the four-armed tribe. Their hearts sank when they sensed the aura of the four-armed elder in the middle. If the opponent's strength was weaker than theirs, then they would absolutely not hesitate to attack and kill the opponent directly. But now, it was obvious that they didn't have the strength to do so. This made their faces even more embarrassed. Their expressions changed constantly. That is? Three-eyed tribe. Why are there people from the three-eyed tribe here? At this moment, the four-armed tribe's faces changed instantly when they saw the two from the three-eyed tribe. Deacon Qian, who was the leader, stared at Yang Feng with glistening eyes. The atmosphere instantly became strange. What's going on? Why are there so many four-armed humans all of a sudden? Since when did our resplendent starry sky have such humans? They are so powerful. Even the weakest among them is a top-notch divine king expert. And the dozen elders in front are even more terrifying. Look at the two people that the 8 desolate celestial emperors are so respectful to. They have 3 eyes. Where did this group of people come from? They are so terrifying. On 9 Destruction Planet, all the experts were looking over. When they saw these 2 special humans, they were filled with shock. Look at the position in front of the 3-eyed human. The expert from Dragon Palace is completely trapped and can't move at all. The Lord from Dragon Palace seems to have the strength of an emperor god. He can't resist the 3-eyed human at all. What realm are they at? How can they be so powerful? I'm afraid something is going to happen. Everyone's heart was pounding. The group of people in front of them gave them a bad feeling. Farm tribe, why are you here? Yang Feng's voice rang out at this moment as he stared coldly at everyone from the four-armed tribe. We would also like to ask, how did your 3-eyed race come here? Deacon Qian of the four-armed tribe asked with a dark expression. This is an opportunity that belongs to our 3-eyed tribe. Yang Xiaohun gritted his teeth and said, Don't you think that's ridiculous? Deacon Qian of the four-armed tribe said coldly. His words made the two from the 3-eyed tribe clench their fists tightly. They too? An expert from the center of the universe? Desolation God Emperor and the others looked at the four-armed race and their hearts were thumping violently. Cold sweat could be seen on their faces. They could feel a suffocating pressure from the other party. According to their senses, even the weakest among the 10,000 people was an 8th-order God King Realm Master. What kind of concept was this? The Dragon Palace belongs to us. Yang Feng said coldly. 3-eyed race, you're thinking too much. I wanted to say that the divine dragon is our mount. Deacon Qian of the four-armed tribe laughed coldly as his gaze swept across everyone. With your strength, you're not qualified to fight against us. Get out of here as soon as possible. What? Four-armed tribe? The experts of our tribe are rushing over here. It's impossible for you to chase us away. Yang Feng said deliberately. As soon as he finished speaking, both parties stared at each other. Gradually, a terrifying aura surged out from their bodies. The aura belonging to a 5th-order God Emperor surged out with the wind and clouds. A silent explosion resounded in the center of their group. Feeling the collision of their auras, the expressions of the God Emperors changed and they quickly hid to the side. 4th-order God Emperor? Or a 5th-order God Emperor? The resplendent starry sky has never produced such a terrifying expert. Beads of cold sweat appeared on the foreheads of the Desolation God Emperor and the others. On the 9 Min planet, everyone felt the collision of the auras. When they heard the words of the God Emperors, they were shocked. That terrifying aura made everyone feel incomparably insignificant. Even a God King powerhouse's face turned pale. To them, this aura was invincible. And what they were saying? The Dragon Palace belonged to them? That divine dragon was their mount? They came for the Dragon Palace? Where did they come from? Could it be the other side of the 8 Desolations and 6 Directions alliance? Their arrogant words showed that they did not put the Dragon Palace in their eyes. In addition, the Dragon Palace's First Order God Emperor Realm expert was easily restrained. This scene shocked them to the extreme. As the auras clashed, Deacon Qian of the Four-Armed Tribe and Yang Feng of the Three-Eyed Race did not look good. Because they knew the strength of the other party, they could not take them down. In that case, they could either fight for it with their own abilities, or we have to report this matter to the Patriarch and the rest. Ask them to hurry over. Yang Feng's expression was gloomy as he transmitted a message to Yang Xiaohun. At this point, they could no longer monopolize this opportunity. Yang Xiaohun nodded. He understood and immediately sent out a message. Deacon Qian noticed their actions and his expression changed slightly. Everyone from the Three-Eyed Race, let's fight based on our own abilities. Deacon Qian narrowed his eyes and said, since it's based on our own abilities, then so be it. Yang Feng replied coldly and waved his arm. Ka. In front of him, 4 wolf beasts with 4 heads appeared. The moment the 4-headed wolf beasts appeared, they raised their heads and let out a series of roars. A terrifying aura rushed out. Luckily, I brought the 4 savage wolves from my tribe here for the sake of treasure hunting. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. Yang Feng rejoiced inwardly when he saw the 4th Order God Emperor wolf beasts appearing in the void. Follow us and our Three-Eyed Race will not mistreat you, Yang Xiaohun said to the 8 Desolation God Emperors. The faces of the Desolation God Emperor Lord and the rest changed. They did not dare to reject Yang Feng's offer. Both sides faced each other and the atmosphere turned heavy. Deacon Qian's expression changed when he saw the Three-Eyed Race bringing 4 4th Order God Emperor wolf beasts with them. The difference in strength between both sides wasn't huge. If they fought, there wouldn't be a clear winner. Let's fight based on our own abilities. Take down the Dragon Palace and subdue all the divine dragons. Move out. Deacon Qian of the Four-Armed Tribe narrowed his eyes and ordered his subordinates. Xiaohun, lead the 4 wolf beasts and the people from the 8 Desolation God Emperor Lord to subdue all the divine dragons and occupy the Dragon Palace. Yang Feng immediately ordered Yang Xiaohun. Yes. Yang Xiaohun and his subordinates responded at the same time. Yang Feng and Deacon Qian floated in the void without moving. They were waiting for the experts from their respective tribes to arrive. Both of them were restraining each other. As for the rest of them, they were going to hunt down the Dragon Palace, occupy it, and subdue the divine dragons. Roar. At this moment, the bound berserk dragon let out a furious roar and struggled with all its might. Noisy. With a wave of his arm, Yang Feng killed the mad dragon and the other members of the Dragon Palace. Move out. Yang Xiaohun roared and flew towards the Dragon Palace below. The 4 wolf beasts and the experts from the 8 Desolation God Emperor Lord followed closely behind. Move out. The experts of the Four-Armed Tribe also moved and flew towards the Dragon Palace. Next, it was time to snatch the treasures. Snatch the Dragon Palace. Snatch the divine dragons. Chapter 2975. Dragon Knights? 6-inch Four-Armed Tribe. The Dragon Palace and the Divine Dragon belong to us. Haha, belong to you? Do you think you're qualified to take it from us? Above the ocean of the 9-Min planet, Yang Xiaohun led the 4 wolf beasts towards the Dragon Palace with the experts from 8 Desolates behind him. At the side, the Four-Armed Tribe was also charging towards the Dragon Palace. Voila! They carried with them a powerful aura. The seawater automatically parted to the sides, revealing the appearance of a dragon palace. Boom! Without the slightest hesitation, they directly bombarded the area below. Bam! The Dragon Palace on the 9-Min planet wasn't of a high level to begin with. It couldn't defend against an Emperor-level attack at all. The powerful force broke holes in the Dragon Palace. They didn't fight but entered the Dragon Palace directly to check out the situation inside. The concentration of spiritual energy in here is high. This is just a branch of the Dragon Palace. There are very few members here. The group entered the Dragon Palace and looked around. But soon, they searched the entire Dragon Palace. Other than feeling that the Dragon Palace was filled with all sorts of divine dragon buildings, they didn't find anything special. What they didn't know was that the Dragon Field and Dragon Cave were only useful to the members of the Dragon Palace. They were useless to invaders and those without divine dragon bloodline. Such intense bloodline power. Just the bloodline power of the members of the Dragon Palace contains a huge amount of energy. In the sky above the Dragon Palace, Yang Feng looked at the dozen corpses in front of him with excitement in his eyes. He waved his arm and licked it. His eyes were even more passionate. These blood can possibly enhance the bloodline of other dire beasts and demonic beasts. They are definitely of a higher level than the ordinary dragon bloodline. He thought to himself, it seems like the members of the Dragon Palace are also treasures. At this moment, a voice was heard. Yang Feng's face darkened as he looked up at the deacon of the Four-Armed Tribe. If it weren't for the Four-Armed Tribe, the treasures would all belong to them. Now, not only would the Four-Armed Tribe fight for a portion, but their tribe would also take the majority. Very few would end up in their hands in the end. Boom boom boom. At this moment, a rumbling sound came from below. Lord Deacon, we didn't find any treasures inside. The majestic Dragon Palace slowly collapsed. The people of the Four-Armed Tribe were the first to fly out and report. The Dragon Palace on Nine Min Planet was of a low level and small size, so it was easy for them to find it. No treasures were found inside. This caused their expressions to turn ugly. After all, it's just a small branch base. It's normal to not have any treasures. Head to the Dragon Palace's main camp. Deacon Qian of the Four-Armed Tribe immediately ordered, Yes, Lord Deacon. Everyone nodded and looked at the creator at the side. I've used a special method to block the information from the intelligence system. If the Dragon Palace doesn't have any special means of communication, they'll only be aware of the situation here after more than 10 days. The Master of Creation spoke to them, following which he looked down at the 9 Destruction Planet. I'll lead the way. Go! Everyone from the Four-Armed Tribe immediately followed and flew toward the teleportation formation on 9 Destruction Planet. Let's go too. Yang Xiaohun looked over and said to the 8 Desolations Tribe. They too flew toward the teleportation formation. Hee friends from the Three-Eyed Tribe, let's wait here. Deacon Qian of the Four-Armed Tribe stared at Yang Feng and chuckled. The overall strength of the Four-Armed Tribe was slightly stronger than the Three-Eyed Tribe. If they were to fight for some treasures, he was confident that the Four-Armed Tribe would be able to obtain more. As long as he could restrain Yang Feng here, it would be fine. Yang Feng snorted coldly and floated in the void without moving. He knew that the other party wouldn't allow him to move, and he wasn't prepared to do so. It wasn't time for them to divide the benefits. They had to wait for the experts of their tribe to arrive. That was when the resources would be divided. The natives here? There's a price to pay for participating in the affairs of our tribe. I advise you to scram. The Four-Armed Tribe and Yang Xiaohun landed in front of the teleportation formation on 9 Destruction Planet. A Fourth-Order God Emperor Realm expert from the Four-Armed Tribe swept his gaze over God Emperor Desolation's group and warned them. They are members of our Three-Eyed Tribe. Our Three-Eyed Tribe will protect them. Yang Xiaohun roared with laughter and said coldly, Go. As soon as he finished speaking, he waved his hand at the group behind him and entered the teleportation formation. Go. The expert from the Four-Armed Tribe gave the order and stepped into the teleportation formation. Soon, their figures disappeared into the teleportation formation. Hiss, they are experts from the center of the cosmos. They are experts from the other side of the universe. There are actually experts from the center of the cosmos. They are too strong. Their target seems to be the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace is finished this time. The Dragon Palace is going to be in trouble. The experts from the center of the cosmos are too terrifying. The surroundings of the teleportation formation were bustling with activity. The group left through the teleportation formation. Everyone around them heard their conversation and saw their faces clearly. 3 eyes, 4 arms. Just this unique appearance was enough to make them feel fear. Seeing them leave, the crowd was in an uproar. Some people looked at the two experts in the void and were even more shocked. News spread like wildfire on the artificial intelligence system. However, some people soon realized that the information they sent out was immediately overshadowed by all kinds of unimportant information. This caused them to be extremely astonished. Even so, the news from Nine Min Planet was still spreading like wildfire. Especially when the Four-Armed Tribe and Three-Eyed Tribe's Yang Xiaohun led a group of experts out of the teleportation formation, it caused a huge commotion. The news of the arrival of experts from the cosmos spread like wildfire. Countless experts were shocked. At this moment, Wang Xian was sitting on the dragon throne in the Imperial Star Domain Lord's Dragon Palace. In front of him, a group of Dragon Palace leaders gathered. Wang Xian frowned as he sat on the throne. His eyes were shining. When the Dragon Palace on the Nine Ming planet was destroyed, Wang Xian immediately received the system notification. Soon after, he found out that the Dragon Palace members guarding the Dragon Palace were also killed. Among them was a First Order God Emperor, destroying the Dragon Palace and killing the experts of the Dragon Palace. In the current starry sky, who would dare? Chapter 2976, Dragon Knights? 7-inch Dragon King, we've received news from 8 Desolation and 6 Directions. Inside the Dragon King Hall, a group of Dragon Palace leaders waited silently for news. A Dragon Palace in 8 Desolation and 6 Directions was destroyed, and a group of Dragon Palace members were killed. The Dragon Palace immediately sent people over to investigate. Experts from the center of the universe have entered 8 Desolation and 6 Directions. They seem to be divided into 2 groups, the Four-Armed Clan and the Three-Eyed Clan. Their arrival should be related to 8 Desolation. There is a figure among the Four-Armed Clan that seems to be a creator. I'm not sure about the specific strength of these 2 groups, but a Second-Order God Emperor can't be compared to them. Moreover, their target is our Dragon Palace. They want to obtain our Dragon Palace and our Divine Dragons. Some of them even said that they want to subdue us as mounts. Prime Minister Turtle frowned as he received the information one by one. As he spoke, a series of pictures floated in front of all the leaders of the Dragon Palace. Damn, they want to tame our Dragon Palace members? Dragon King, let's go and kill them now. Damn it, let's go and torture them to death. The bad-tempered Orochi and Demon Sha were infuriated when they saw the information, and their bodies were filled with murderous intent. The rest of the Dragon Palace leaders narrowed their eyes and revealed a cold, murderous intent. The group from the center of the universe? The other side of 8 Desolation and 6 Directions is indeed the center of the universe. Wang Xian frowned slightly. Enlai. He looked at Enlai and said, Dragon King, I'm here. Enlai immediately cupped his fists and said, let's check out the other party's strength first. After that, we'll return immediately. Wang Xian instructed Enlai. Yes, Dragon King. Leave it to me. Enlai nodded and his figure instantly disappeared. Dragon King, according to the information we received, the 2 groups from the center of the universe are heading towards the Divine Dragons. As the group from the center of the universe, I'm afraid we can't go against them. Prime Minister Turtle frowned and said, their current strength was very strong in the resplendent starry sky, but compared to those forces from the center of the universe, they were still far behind. As the Divine Dragon Clan, we will definitely ascend to the stage of the universe and encounter some dangers. I just didn't expect it to happen so quickly. However, the races at the center of the universe aren't that strong. Wang Xian recalled the classification of the forces in the center of the universe in the legacy of the Divine Dragon. The Horde race belonged to the weakest power, and they didn't even have a venerable. But even if it was weak, it was still relative. A tribe would have more than 10,000 God Emperor realm experts, and the peak existences would have the strength of a 6th or 7th Order God Emperor. They were much stronger than the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace would be in grave danger if the armies of the 2 clans were to arrive. He had to make some preparations. Let's wait for Enlai to finish checking out their strength first. Wang Xian said plainly. According to the opponent's strength, the Dragon Palace would make some preparations. The leaders of Dragon Palace nodded and waited quietly for the news. Yamada no Demonsha played with a poison dagger in his hand with a cold expression. Dragon King, I've received the news. Enlai's speed was fast. There were a few planets in the 8 Desolation world that had dragon palaces. The Three-Eyed Tribe and Four-Armed Tribe did not destroy them. Enlai teleported over through the teleportation array and started his investigation with his teleportation ability. With Enlai's teleportation speed, he could finish checking out the entire 8 Desolation world in 5 minutes. According to the information he had just read, he had locked onto the Four-Armed Tribe and Three-Eyed Tribe. Dragon King, they are just a bunch of trash. How dare they try to annihilate our Dragon Palace and say they want to tame us? Dragon King, let's kill them. As Enlai spoke, he waved his arm and the detection stone plate appeared. There were many red and black dots on the plate. There are only 2 fifth-order God Emperors in the void. How dare they be so arrogant? When the leaders of the Dragon Palace looked over, their eyes immediately shot out a strong killing intent. Yamada no Demonsha and the rest snickered and licked their lips. Dragon King, let the sky array be with us, the Venom Horn Dragon. We will annihilate them. I want them to know the price of their arrogance. Demonsha said coldly. Currently, the Dragon Palace had close to 8,000 God Emperors. Including Wang Xian, there were 14 fifth-order God Emperors and over 100 fourth-order God Emperors. With such strength, just 2 fifth-order God Emperor realm experts from the Dragon Palace wanted the members of the Dragon Palace to ride on their divine dragons? They were simply courting death. Sure. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw the data. He nodded immediately. Yamada no Demonsha, not only do you have to annihilate them, you have to obtain all the information from them. Now that the experts in the center of the cosmos can travel through the 8 Desolations world, we have to gather enough information to be fully prepared. He continued to instruct. Don't worry, Dragon King. Leave it to us, the Venom Horn Dragon. Yamada no Demonsha and Demonsha nodded their heads confidently. Let's go and take a look at the experts in the center of the cosmos. Sky Array revealed a smile as he said to Yamada no Demonsha and Demonsha. The 2 fifth-order God Emperors are still in the sky above the 9 Destruction Planet. The other group is heading in our direction. The tens of thousands of people should have reached the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region. Enlai reminded from the side. We will bring their corpses back soon. Yamada no Demonsha and Demonsha nodded their heads confidently. Very soon, Sky Array and the 10,000 Venom Horn Dragons were teleported to a dragon palace at the border of the Holy Region and Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region. The current Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region hadn't changed much from before, other than the fact that there weren't many wars. Due to the interconnection of communication, some people in the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region also had artificial brains. Some of the citizens also knew about the 8 Desolations world. All of them discussed curiously on the artificial brains. This star field is so troublesome. It's a waste of our time. In the starry sky of the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region, the Four-Armed Race and the Three-Eyed Race were crossing the void. The Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region was occupied by many God Emperors. The teleportation array was not accessible. Some places could only be reached by flying. This would waste a lot of time. It won't take long to cross this star field. There's no need to hurry. The Dragon Palace's base is here. It won't be able to escape. Some of the experts in the Four-Armed Race were discussing. The Dragon Palace and the Divine Dragon Palace are ours. It's just that those bastards are a little troublesome. The experts in the Four-Armed Race swept their cold gazes over Yang Xiaohun and the 4 wolf beasts as they commented coldly. Chapter 2977. Kill easily on Milord. According to the guesses of the people in bedazzling starry sky, there are between 50 to 100 Emperor Gods in Dragon Palace. Among them, the 9-wind Divine Dragons are exceptionally powerful. In the starry sky of Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region, Emperor God Desolation introduced to Yang Xiaohun, who was beside him. The power of Dragon Palace isn't worth mentioning. It's those guys at the side. Yang Shaohun wasn't bothered by Emperor God Desolation's words as he swept his gaze across the people of four-armed race. Emperor God Desolation and the Emperor Lord exchanged a glance as their eyes glowed. As long as we can kill that dragon palace, the Emperor Lord bellowed, his eyes gleaming with hatred. This time, even if Dragon Palace doesn't die, it will be tamed and reduced to a mount in the future. Emperor God Desolation revealed a smile. Dragon Palace's oppression had turned them into stray dogs. Now that the calamity of Dragon Palace was upon them, they felt the thrill of revenge. There's a planet ahead that can be teleported. My lord, let's go. At this moment, an Emperor God pointed ahead and said. Everyone's eyes glowed as they sped up towards the planet ahead. The people of four-armed race, who were not far away, immediately flew towards the planet after receiving the Master of Creation's instructions. Who's there? What a powerful aura. For you. When tens of thousands of people from four-armed race, three-eyed race, and disciples from 8 Desolation descended on the planet, it immediately caused chaos. Get lost. We, 8 Desolation, will lead the powerful experts from three-eyed race to destroy Dragon Palace. Everyone get out of the way. An Emperor God from 8 Desolation looked at the vigilant planet guards below and enveloped them with his aura. What? Hiss, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. Hearing the Divine Emperor's words and sensing the terrifying pressure, all the guards on the planet revealed terrified expressions as they hurriedly bellowed. The teleportation formation was instantly emptied. Hee, I'm the Master of Creation. I'm leading the four-armed race to hunt divine dragons and dragon kings. Get out of the way. On the side, the Creator said coldly, Master of Creation? Everyone on the planet shuddered when they heard this. A Creator was the ruler of the Mechanic Emperor domain. He was not dead yet? Looking at the four-armed human and three-eyed human, everyone on the planet was filled with awe and respect. Go. Go. God Emperor Desolation and the others glanced at the Masters of Creation and flew towards the teleportation formation. The four-armed group also flew forward. They were moving forward together, but they were restraining each other. The fight would only begin when they arrived at the Dragon Palace. The news from 8 Desolations and 6 Directions is true. Hiss, the experts from the center of the universe are going to destroy the Dragon Palace. It's the 8 Desolation and the Masters of Creation who contacted the experts in the center of the universe. They're asking the experts to destroy the Dragon Palace. I'm afraid the Dragon Palace is doomed. Their power is too terrifying. Even the Dragon Palace can't resist such strength. Quick, pass this information to our Lord God Emperor. Everyone on the planet was shocked to see them leave. They quickly spread the news. The four-armed group and three-eyed group were rushing from planet to planet in the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region. The news of the experts from the center of the universe going to destroy the Dragon Palace spread like wildfire. While they were rushing over, the Sky Array 8 branches Devilish Shah and the others were also rushing over to them. The distance between them was getting shorter. Buzz. At the teleportation formation of a flourishing planet, figures with majestic auras appeared. Four-armed humans, three-eyed humans. Through the teleportation formation, they arrived at the center of the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region. Greetings to the experts from the center of the universe. As soon as they appeared, a God Emperor led his subordinates and greeted them respectfully. When the news reached him, he immediately led his subordinates to welcome them. He didn't ask for any benefits. He just wanted to be familiar with them and not be killed. After all, they were experts from the center of the universe. The ruler of this region is really weak. He's merely a first-order God Emperor. Among the four-armed group, a peak God King Realm expert said disdainfully when he saw the God Emperor. By right, a peak God King Realm expert wasn't qualified to mock a God Emperor. However, as someone who came from the center of the universe, he felt superior after seeing the people on the various planets, which is the teleportation formation that leads to the Imperial Star Domain. Yang Shaohun swept a glance at the four-armed group and asked sternly, Lord, it's the teleportation formation in front. That God Emperor didn't dare to object when he heard the mockery from the four-armed group. He quickly explained to Yang Shaohun, Yang Xiaohun looked ahead and walked towards the teleportation formation. What a terrifying aura. I'm afraid the Dragon Palace is going to be in trouble. How did the Masters of Creator and 8 Desolations find experts from the center of the universe? In the surroundings, some people looked at them in awe as they walked towards the teleportation formation and transmitted their voices. Buzz buzz. At this moment, a group of figures appeared in the teleportation formation ahead. They were completely black and each of them was about 3 meters tall. They looked ferocious. In the center, there were 3 people who looked normal. There was an old man and 2 middle-aged men. They appeared in front of the teleportation formation and squinted their eyes. Get lost. At this moment, a cold voice came from one of the experts from the 4-armed group. He shouted at the group of people who came out of the teleportation formation. However, the group of people didn't move at all when they heard the shout. They were still sizing them up in silence. In the surroundings, the people on this planet revealed looks of astonishment. The Master of Creator stared at the old man and the group of strange creatures in the center. His eyes glowed as he found them familiar. He immediately analyzed and calculated. However, when the God Emperors from 8 Desolations saw the old man in the center, they narrowed their eyes and revealed a murderous intent. This group of people was naturally Tianjin and the Venom Horn Dragon. Hee, you're from the 4-armed group and 3-eyed group, right? Let me introduce myself. I'm the leader of the Venom Horn Dragon, 8 branches. This is my brother, Emosha. This is the leader of the Witch Dragon, Tianjin. I'm here to welcome you. Prepare to entertain the experts from the center of the universe. At this moment, 8 branches took a step forward and cupped his fist. He looked at everyone with a sinister gaze and smiled. Members of the Dragon Palace? 8 branches introduced himself and stunned the 4-armed group and Yang Xiaohun. Welcome you? Entertain you? This Dragon Palace is that you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.